interview with another professional wrestler. He goes by the name of Mathias. Mathias. And let's get into it and let me let him in.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Great. Good to finally get this going.
Yes, it is. And first of all, thank you for doing this, Matthias. I really appreciate the opportunity to have you on.
Of course, I've been looking forward to it myself.
All right, let's get into it.
Yeah.
So, how did you get into professional wrestling?
Well, I always wanted to do it, but where I grew up, it was kind of a small town, and there wasn't anything around me. So at the time, I was just doing martial arts and powerlifting because I knew that when I eventually became and found a place where I could do professional wrestling, I needed to be strong, so I did powerlifting, and I needed to be able to move well, so I did martial arts. There was other sports that I sprinkled in there, like I did a little bit of basketball with my brother, and I tried football, but team sports weren't really my thing. Individual sports like martial arts, those were my thing. So when I finally moved out here to SoCal, I found a school and I went to the first training I could.
That is awesome. So, as a kid, did you watch wrestling and stuff like that?
Yes, I found as I was really young, like 5, 6 years old, I'd see like little sprinkles of it here and there, flipping through the channels. But being at that age, before we had DVRs and everything,
Yeah.
like you never really knew what was on when you were that young. It's just you'd see it once in a while. And my parents always wanted us to be outside. They always. My dad would be inside napping or whatever when he came back from work, or it's just they wanted us to be outdoor kids. So like they'd have us be outside all the time, and then once in a while we'd come inside, and of course that's when it was nighttime. If we weren't playing with Hot Wheel toys or something, we'd flip through and see wrestling. But then it wasn't until I was about 11 years old, when I was kind of a teenager, that I was sitting at home while my brothers were at football practice, flipping through channels, and I saw John Cena rapping on top of the SmackDown table.
Oh, okay.
And that's kind of like when I really got into it, like 06, 07 era is when I really found pro wrestling again.
So, where did you come up with the name of Matthias?
That's my actual name, in fact. So,
Really?
yeah, it's a pretty badass name. Now, my real first name is Ryan, but the only person that calls me Ryan is my mother. So, Matthias is just like how I've been known, especially down here since I moved down here to SoCal. Because like it's my last name, but it's the name I want to make famous. I always liked the name Mathias ever since I first heard it. It's my last name. How many people don't like their last name? It's my family name, and it's the name that I want to make famous. Because there's a million, maybe even more than a million Ryans in the world. But how many Mathiases are there? I'd like that name to be up in bright lights and stand out amongst everything. And it's a name with meaning. Like there's meaning behind the name. I believe the actual meaning is the gift from God. Now, I do have some religious beliefs, but like I don't present that as part of my character or out to the world. It's just, again, it's a name with meaning, a name with a value that I think a lot of people can relate to, over time if they kind of fall in love with it, just like, I did when I first heard it.
Yeah. So how long did it take you to get into a wrestling match before you?
My first match, let's see, I started training in May, and then in May of 2023, and my first match was December 2nd, 2023. So it was like 5.5 months is when I had my first match, which is very quick, because when I first started pro wrestling, I was under the impression it was going to be 2 years before I ever got to be like in an actual show and like do a wrestling match. But really what it comes down to is like how fast do you learn? How fast can you pick up all this stuff and be physically prepared to take care of yourself and your opponent in there. And luckily, again, for me, I did powerlifting before and I did martial arts. And in martial arts, we do like demonstrations. You go to the fairs or like different schools, and you like put on a little show, right? And a lot of that is kind of similar to what we do in pro wrestling, where you are demonstrating the techniques, the skills that you know. Now, it's not a whole fight choreographed thing like what we do, but like it's little pieces of it. So I kind of already had some habits from that and some skills from that that made me pick it up really quick. You know, like the first day you're learning all the rolls and the gymnastics style moves and things to like kind of protect you. Like I picked that up in a second because I've been doing it for 20 years already. You know, so I was already ahead of the game, and that's also something that I recommend anyone that's trying to get into pro wrestling. You need to get good. You have to have a skill, preferably a physical skill, that'll make it so much easier for you. Because it's hard, and pro wrestling really beats your body up. So if you can already come in at a skill level with martial arts or some form of sport or athletics that makes you pick it up that much quicker, you're just going to save more time and save your body, you know? So get coordinated, get like physically active before you really get into this pro wrestling.
And this might be a dumb question, but how did it feel taking your first actual part in the
Well,
ring?
that is actually an interesting question because I know I keep saying this, but like it's important. I did powerlifting, and in powerlifting, you literally brutalize your body every workout. You're lifting weights that could kill an average person if you get strong enough. So you're beating yourself up with that. So I kind of knew what it was like to beat myself up. But then again, in martial arts, you learn how to fall. You do these demonstrations where you fall on the mat, or sometimes you miss and you fall on the concrete. So I thought I was going to know and understand what it's like to take my first pro wrestling bump. I did not. So any of you, you know what it feels like? I promise you don't know what it feels like until you actually do it. Because what I did, I went out there to the middle of the ring. They said, you know, tuck your chin, lay down, slap the mat nice and wide, lay everything flat, just like we're supposed to. I did that. Now, a wrestling ring, there's a little bit of pad. Underneath that little bit of pad, there's wood, and underneath that, there's little steel rails. So it has a little bit of a give and spring to it compared to like laying on a concrete floor.
Okay.
But when you land on concrete, the impact is instant and it goes right away. In a pro wrestling ring, sort of like a trampoline, it goes down and it reverberates right back up into your ass. So when I did my first bump, I, like usual, I just slam myself down into it real hard. And then it springs you back up because, again, it has a little bit of a delay to go down and then shoot it right back up into you. And I stood up and I was literally vibrating. Like my whole body was just like in this shaking. Because, like, yes, I've fallen before, but not like that, you know. And when I, especially early on in pro wrestling, I put everything I had into every move we did. And I don't care if there was a bump. I don't care if I was running and hitting the buckle or hitting the ropes. If I'm hitting the ropes, I'm trying to break the ropes. If I'm hitting the buckle, I'm trying to break the buckle. If I'm slamming into the mat, I'm trying to break the mat. Because if you don't try to break it, it's just going to break you. You know, you can't candy ass it. You gotta put a lot in. So I was going full force with everything right off the bat, and that also probably contributed to why I was vibrating so much. Yeah.
So you haven't been in the business for that long.
No, not very long at all. Just over 3 years. You know, like I said, 2023 December 2nd was my original debut, but that was like a small time show at the Socallro warehouse. My bigger, more official debut was actually January 11th, I believe, like a month and a week later. But yeah, it's just been 3 years really, you know, and I've been going full force like I do with everything the whole time, trying to get as high and as fast as I can.
You're a full-time wrestler, and you also have a full-time business out of wrestling. So how do you manage those two at the same time?
The answer is I don't sleep, which again is why I'm drinking coffee right now. I hope you know.
Oh, man.
Sleep is not required, but coffee is just to get through stuff, you know.
Okay.
I really don't sleep a lot, to be honest. I wish I had more time, but my business, there's not a lot of man hours. I really have to like continuously be there because I built this website that sells workout programs. I have a degree in exercise science, and I put a lot of the knowledge I obtained already into that website. So it's kind of on the back burner right now. Like I'm still doing stuff. I still make programs for people here and there. But most of my focus right now is on pro wrestling, and I'm very fortunate that I can still do my job of selling my programs and helping people and not have it take up a ton of my time. Um,
Okay.
I wish it made more money so I can go more places for pro wrestling, but it pays the bills, and that's good enough for now.
So you only been in the company for 3 years, but you still won the SoCal Pro Wrestling Championship. Oh,
Yes, that was actually my first goal when I first started pro wrestling. Is that I always try to set some goals for myself, and I never set easy goals for myself. The easy ones, I don't like the quick goals. I like the
yeah,
goals that take some time, that take a lot of work, that almost seem unattainable. Those are the ones that I want. So when I first started, like maybe a month into doing pro wrestling, I'm thinking about what's my goal going to be. It's not just have a match. I know I'm going to have a match. I'm not going to just 100, not just be in it for 20 years. I want something specific, and it was what's right behind me, I guess on this side, the SoCal Pro
yeah.
Heavyweight Championship. That is the first goal I set myself. That's what I wanted. Took me about a year and a half to get there, but I worked my ass off to get it, and I got it.
And how long did that take for you to win the belt?
I'm sorry, say that again? It cut out.
How long did it take into your career before you got the belt?
It was a year and a half. Yeah, it's just, I mean, I guess a little under a year and a half. Um,
Okay.
yeah, but like I was in a feud for it for basically a year to get to
Oh
that point.
wow.
I had some people joke, I had like 5 or 6 title opportunity matches before I actually won the thing. But I was in this feud with the champion for about a span of a year. It was like little trickles early on, and then we
Mhm.
had match after match after match, kind of
Yeah.
spread out over another 6 months or so. So it took about a year of fighting, but about a year and a half into my career. So.
And I noticed that you posted stuff about you showing up at TNA, WWE, and AEW also.
Yes, that's
Oh,
correct. I've done work for all three of those companies.
wow, that is that is wonderful. So how did you get those kind of opportunities too?
Well, again, it takes a lot of hard work. Um, you have to essentially get noticed
Yeah.
for different companies. There's different people, different emails and things to reach out to, but you have to like build a resume and a lot of times they'll kind of find you in a way. Like if you're
Mhm.
going for WWE, go to a Gabe Sapolsky seminar. I did one of those, and that's how I started
Okay.
doing extra work for WWE. Is he noticed and recognized and liked what I did, so he put me on the list to do some extra work. And then for AEW, Arkady, their ring announcer for Collision, she was actually originally at SoCal Pro. She learned
Okay.
pro wrestling there, and also that was where she was doing commentary or announcing.
All right.
And she got hired by them by going out and doing the same sort of things I am. Is just going everywhere you can and trying to get noticed. And she gave me a little bit of contact. Now she didn't really get me in. It's just she got me the opportunity to reach out to the people that would get me in. So they helped me do some extra work for AEW. And then for TNA, it's the same sort of thing. You just gotta keep grinding and find somebody that's on the inside that has an email that you can reach out to, and maybe they'll get back to you, maybe they won't, and see if you can help them out. A lot of this stuff is just showing up to help out. Not expecting anything, but doing the most you can to be a part of the crew and really like help them, and then they can help you.
So out of those three companies, which company would you love to get signed
Any of them? I mean, at this point, I have no issues with any company. I respect all the companies. If there's a contract for me, I'm probably going to sign the first one that comes,
by?
as long
Okay.
as it's a reasonable contract.
Yeah.
But WWE has always been the dream. I think it's been the dream for most all of us, just because we
Okay.
grew up with it. I think all
Yeah.
AEW and TNA they understand that. Even though TNA has also been, I've been watching TNA just as long as I've been watching WWE. I found it around the same time I found WWE. But
Okay.
WWE is like where a lot of us had like our dreams in our head made. Like that's where we saw the action a lot more. It was a lot bigger company. So that's of course the dream is to be there. But honestly, I'd like to work for all three of them. at
Okay.
one point or another. I respect all three. I love them. Like I said, I've been seeing TNA just as long. I love TNA just like I love WWE. WWE is the ultimate dream. But then again, AEW is new, and I can't say I don't love that too. So
Yeah.
I would work for any and all of them.
So the only promotion that you actually work for is SoCal Pro Wrestling, right?
Yeah, SoCal Pro Wrestling is where I got my start. It's where I did my first match, my first training. It's my home promotion. The place that
Yeah.
I go to the most. It's where I'm going to training tonight. Um, so SoCal Pro Wrestling, that's based out of San Marcos. So it's a little bit above San Diego, but basically it's San Diego. But I've also done training in a couple other places. But that's my home promotion, and I travel all over.
And don't you have a big show coming up this weekend, I think?
I have quite a few big shows coming up back. I feel like every show I do now is a big show. I mean, not just because I have that title back behind me, but there's a lot of names and people that have been talking to me and want to work with me. So I'm really honored to have these opportunities. But yes, this Saturday at Bayside Brew down here in San Diego for Primal Pro Wrestling, I'm facing against formerly known Darren Young, but it's Fred Rosser is his actual name. He's the coach for the New Japan Dojo up in LA. In a triple threat match with him, as well as Yasin Khan, the Primal Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Champion, a championship I have yet to win, but we'll see what happens Saturday.
Okay.
And then on Sunday, I'm going to Long Beach for Sunday Night Slam. That's part of the United Wrestling Network. And I'm going against Cha Cha Charlie, pretty soon to be known as Cha Cha Chump. He's actually a pretty cool cat. I can't wait to work with him. And then next weekend, April 11th, is our SoCal Pro anniversary show. It's our biggest show of the year. It's basically all WrestleMania. And actually, last year at that show is when I returned and won the SoCal Pro Heavyweight Championship. So,
Nice.
yes, in a surprise event, I came back and took it all. So this would be 1 year as SoCal Pro Heavyweight Champion next Saturday. When, of course, I win. When I take on Paul London, who, of course, is another legendary person that we grew up watching. Yeah.
Man. All right, so I ask all this to every single wrestler that I interview. What do you like to be, a heel or a babyface?
Well, I love being a face. A face is always what I want to be, but it's never what I am. The reason being, in SoCal, I'm one of the larger people. I'm 6 feet, about 250 pounds, and I'm essentially Goliath to all the Davids around. Now, there are some people, a couple of them that are a little bit bigger than me, but for the most part, most people are relatively smaller than I am. So it's hard for bookers to put me as, face going against these guys. We can make it work, and we do sometimes. I did have a run as a face at ORC when I was champion, and a couple other places I'll be face here and there. But for the most part, I'm being booked as a heel, but I much prefer to be a face because I like to think of myself as a nice guy. I don't really like cocky assholes, and yet that's what I have to play as a character. So that's what I do. I do my job.
So how did you come up with your character?
Well, I mean, my character is always kind of what I was. It's just, they say it's yourself turned up to 11. And in a sense, that's what it is, And in martial arts, we don't talk, It's like we never had words. So, that's always been the hardest part for me is, coming up with promos and things to say. Because I don't have mean things to say about people.
Yeah.
I don't have, snarky comments. Because, I don't think those things. So it's hard for me to come up with bad things to say for promos about people to either knock them down or build myself up more. But my character is really just me. It's just how I think, how I feel. I have a lot of internal and self drive, and I try to present that. I have a lot of values as well. I'm asked all the time if I'm in the military just because of my haircut, but really I just like the haircut. It's what it is. My dad, he was a fire chief for Cal Fire. Okay. And he said, the firefighting's like civil military. You know, it's not military; it's civil military.
Mm-hmm.
And he raised this with some certain values that are very similar to that, and I appreciate all those, and I try to present those to the world
Okay,
on
that's
top.
good. So, was it harder to get a reaction from fans of Babyface or heel?
Say that first part again.
For you, what is more difficult to get a reaction from fans?
It's difficult to get a reaction, probably more as a heel, you know, because this
Okay.
face. A lot of people they see me and they already see me as a face. You know, it's just I guess I have the look of being a face,
Okay.
but being a heel, it's like I don't like spitting at people and like being nasty and stuff. So it's harder for me to like really get into that and like dog down on people. You know, so it's harder to get that reaction than face reactions.
Okay. Well, and the last question I have is I ask everybody this.
Okay.
In the independent wrestling scene, if, if you could put five independent wrestlers on the Mount Rushmore of independent wrestling, who would you put up there?
Five on the independent wrestling Mount Rushmore. Hmm. That's hard because like I didn't really know, like most people, I didn't know anything about independent wrestling until I started in indie wrestling. Like
Okay.
I've never paid to see indie wrestling show because I didn't know it was there until
Yeah.
I only thought that there was like training school and then oh you go to WWE. Like I didn't really know what to think, you know.
Yeah.
So I haven't been into the history of indie
Mhm.
wrestling, but if I'm gonna name some, they're probably current that just like stand out to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Right now.
Yeah, right now it's stand out. Matt Cardona. I feel
Okay.
like he. I know he currently just got signed, but it's hard to take him off the list because like
Oh
he
yeah.
was the face of indie wrestling in my opinion for so many years since
Oh
he was
yeah. He was.
clean. You know, like he really kind of led the path of what we should all be doing to get there, you know, with the social media and everything.
Of
And I
course.
think that what trailed off from him is our Richard Holidays and our Ben Bishops. Shout outs to those guys. They're great guys. I met them both. They're fantastic. Um, can I put women on there too? Is it cool to put women
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
there?
Yeah.
That's great.
Go right
Uh,
ahead.
I really like what Brittany Brooks has been doing.
Okay.
Um, in a way, she's a little bit. I mean, not in a way she is. She's my motivation to reach out and go to more places as well because she, in my opinion, is all over the place. You know, she lives in Vegas, and uh, as far as women on indies, I don't know if I've seen anyone doing as much as her. She really is. She wanted to be a workhorse, and well, you are. You're a workhorse. You know, she's a bit of motivation to me and probably a lot of other people with how hard she works and how much she does. On top of that last person, I think I'm going to put is actually Jack Cartwheel. I know he's also technically an ID prospect and sign, but the whole point of the ID program, as far as I understand, is to help expand the indies and like uh, make everyone around them better. And I
Yeah.
think he specifically has done that. I faced Jack Cartwheel. He's an amazing guy, amazing talent. We actually grew up in the same area of Northern California.
Wow.
I didn't know that until he was famous, but I know that now. And like just where he's been, like he was in France not too long ago. You know, he keeps
Okay.
going to Mexico, AAA. Like the way he's expanding the ID program and just the whole scene, I think that he's top of the line. You know, it's hard for me not to put him on there, even though he is technically signed-ish, I believe.
So where in North California did you grow up?
I grew up in an area called Gold Country. Now, the actual city is Grass Valley, but Grass Valley and Nevada City and Nevada County and like all these areas, they're very close and like kind of smaller, touristy kind of towns. And it's basically, it's called Gold Country because it's where gold was originally found.
Yeah.
Started the '49 gold rush.
Hmm.
So that's where I say I'm from Gold Country. It's like the foothills of Lake Tahoe and Sacramento. It's kind of in between those two areas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up in Northern California also.
Oh, really? What area?
Well, I'm still living there. I'm like in the East Bay area
Okay.
where Concord and Warner Creek.
Okay. Oh, where
Yeah,
they had WrestleMania 31.
yeah.
Yeah, I went to WrestleMania 31.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, I was at 31 and I was at 41. But
Oh, that's
41 was backstage.
oh, that is cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
But I really want to thank you for the opportunity. Thank you so much for coming on. It's
Of
been
course.
great.
Yeah, thanks for having me. You know, anytime you want me back, I'm happy to do this. I love doing interviews.
I mean, I would love to have you back.
Yeah. Thanks again for having me.
And good luck this weekend. I hope you get the other championship though.
I'm sure I will. And for everybody listening, if you want to check out what I'm doing, follow me along. Have my handle up there on the screen. It's at Mathias Wrestles on all the social medias: Instagram, Facebook, the TikToks, the Tweeters, the YouTubes. Anywhere you can do social media, I'm there at Mathias Wrestles.
And I will also have it in the description below.
Thank you.
And you have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later.
All right. See ya.
Thank you so much.